I'm tired, boss.
Alright, so I know I'm not the only one that's talked about this, but we absolutely have to talk about the tank problem in Marvel Rivals. I still find it hilarious that before Rogue came out, everyone's like, oh, for the first time ever, now that we got Angela and then now Rogue, we might actually have a triple tank problem. Ha ha ha. But not only do we have a tank problem, but why? Why do we have a tank problem? What needs to change in the current state of Marvel Rivals? And I don't mean this just to be a complaining type video. It's going to be a bit of a rant because I want to give a voice to all those tank mains putting in the work. Do I think 5.5 is in a bad place? It's not my favorite patch, I'll say that. Triple heals has gotten a bit monotonous and boring, but by far I think tank is the most lonely and difficult role. You might not think so. Oh, there's other characters that have harder mechanical skill like Spidey, BP, I get that. But as a tank main, you're expected to be the glue that holds everyone together, but you never get to play your role properly. And not only do you have to have the best situational awareness, but you rarely get to have fun the way you should be able to. Here's an example. Thor players, Rogue players, Captain America players, these are off tanks. Angela's kind of an exception, and that's why I actually main Angela now, because she's fast enough that she can sustain herself with health packs and skewer people. But those other three I mentioned, they play significantly better and can thrive in a situation where you have a secondary tank. Half the time, you don't get that secondary tank. So a good Thor player, for example, that mains that character has to play and totally change the way they approach a fight. They gotta peel for their healers, but expect to be a good DPS at the same time, fight two tanks at once. You can't play the character properly. Same with Captain America. As a solo tank as Cap, you can't do what you would normally do. Go to the spots, harass the other team, do what Cap does best. Like if you think of a good Thor and Hulk player that comes to mind, that still manages to be excellent with that character solo tanking, imagine if you got to see them play the character properly where they get to go full tilt with a secondary tank, or a secondary tank that knows what they're doing. And yeah, sometimes the reaction is just switch, or you're getting diffed. Why don't you just play another tank that can solo tank better? Why should that player have to do that? Half the time I've just played Rogue as a solo tank anyway, even though I know she's not adequate, unless I absolutely have to switch. Why should we be forced to play the same, like 3 or 4 tanks that can solo tank half the time, just so other teammates can have a chance to win? Maybe you should just switch. Maybe someone else should take a turn. I don't mind playing tank. The sheer audacity that some players will tell you to switch, or you're getting diffed while everyone else gets to have fun, it's ridiculous. And the sad part is, a lot of tank mains probably do. You don't think there's some Doctor Strange mains out there that would love to be swinging around as Spider-Man? Do you think a Venom is having as much fun as he could be when he's solo tanking? They have to change the way they play to compensate. I nearly have a Lord Rogue now. I've been practicing this character, she's a lot of fun, and I like that she has a unique approach to a fight. Some mobility. Like, I really like this character, but she gets annihilated by poke. She also needs to be able to block something because you can get grappled by a Bucky. Like, she has no proper blocking move. As a tank, that's atrocious. But that's a whole other topic for another video. The point is, Rogue plays better as an off tank, but half the time, playing this character, and I've played a lot of matches with Rogue now, even in ranked, I usually have to solo tank, so I have to play her completely different. And I can't feed, I can't die, I gotta peel for my healers, while fighting 2 tanks by myself. The coolest move she has, absorbing people's abilities, is on an atrocious 25% cooldown, but you're mostly relegated now to just copying tank abilities just for the HP because you're solo tanking, you don't have a choice. My point being, most tank mains don't get to play their tank properly. Even a tank that thrives as a solo tank like Magneto or Groot, you still can't play 100% the way that you normally would. You are genuinely forced to play a very passive and different way in order to take space, keep your healers alive, but not get absolutely sprayed and mowed down. You're getting pushed and pulled by Buckies, you're getting sprayed by Punisher turrets. Most tanks are also sitting ducks too. You lack mobility that other characters have, with the exception of a few of them. But again, even the tanks that have good mobility like Angela, I can't just go skewer the backlines if I'm a solo tank. I'm leaving my whole team wide open then. for a thing to just roll in and stomp my team out. Whereas a Spider-Man can swing around, get their kills, and dare I say, still have fun despite losing a game. Most DPSs don't have this problem. And triple heals, well, they have their own issues, but healing is not an issue right now. As a matter of fact, we have too many. It's not hard to get healers on your team right now, because 9 times out of 10, throughout the course of a match, you'll probably have 3 on either team, making tanking that much harder because nothing's dying. But again, that brings us around now to another question. Why is there a lack of tanks? Are they just simply not that fun? Well, like I said, playing Thor with a secondary tank makes him a whole lot funner. But why can't we get other tank players? Why does no one want a main tank? From what I've gathered, there's a few reasons. One, there is simply just not enough characters to pick from. Healer has that same problem, but not as badly, since again, people don't mind playing triple heals all day long. Another reason is exactly what I stated. A lot of tanks lack mobility, so you are reliant on your DPS to do their jobs and your healers to be adequate. Otherwise, you're just going to be a meat shield all game, and that's no fun. No one wants to do that, so it's us tank mains that get stuck doing it. People also seem to struggle with the tank role and get discouraged right away, so they give up on it. They overextend, they don't know how to take space properly, know when to take space and know when to back off a bit. Because you're very centralized as a tank, you have to have constant situational awareness on what's going on in front of you and behind you. You gotta know how to use your environment, know how to use cover, and sometimes that can be difficult to learn, and it's not fun, so why would anyone do that? It can also be somewhat exhausting. How you have to play as a tank differently depending on the healers and strategists you have on your team. If you have somebody like Mantis, you got to assume they're going to be giving damage boost, doing a bit more DPSing if they're good, hopefully, but you're not going to get healed as much and have the same healing output. So if you're getting smashed by a Punisher turret, or a Hela beaming you, it completely changes the way you play as a tank, depending on your cover, the map, especially if you're solo tanking. While it doesn't really affect your DPS all that much. You're expected to solo tank, you're expected to do good at that, even if you're going up against 2 tanks, you're expected to protect your backlines and be the primary person that does that while fighting the front lines of the other team and getting poked, and mentally it just takes a toll on you after a while. It just gets exhausting, and it becomes an impossible task that you're expected to do. Another reason is because of the point system, and how the points are distributed, how an MVP is given out. I was able to climb to Grandmaster this season as a solo queue, pretty much 98% playing tanks. I used Angela and Penny, but Penny's banned all the time. So Emma Frost, I played her a lot. Played Doctor Strange quite a bit actually, as a flex, portal, kinda off tank. And a bit of Groot. Until Rogue was released, then I played her quite a bit in ranked and had some success. But what I learned is even in competitive, not as often as quick play, but you are solo tanking more than you'd think. Because people have big egos, they can one trick, but also they want to get more points if they win. You do not get as much points when you're tank, because the shit that you do just doesn't get recorded. You think a Captain America in their backlines all game that goes 10-7, but also completely shut down the enemy Hawkeye that was gonna decimate you, gets credit for that with points? No. There isn't as much incentive to play tank, especially in competitive, as you climb and get better opponents. So it's the same few players that are getting stuck doing it because now they're tank mains, and you get the short end of the stick when it comes to the point system. No one really gives a shit. Really, when you think about it, how much damage you blocked. People compare heals and kills and final hits all the time. No one ever gives a shit about how much damage you blocked. How much times, as Emma Frost, I might not kill, but I choke slam and scare off the enemy Daredevil in my backlines. While my teammate Star-Lord or Spider-Man or Moon Knight get to go rack up some kills and damage, because they're not going to protect our backlines. So due to how the point system works in competitive, the lack of points you get in credit, as well as how monotonous, how babysitting, and how unfun tanking can be, it's no wonder we're lacking people to play tank, hence the already tank players have to solo tank, making it even more miserable. It's like this endless cycle. I still can't believe people actually thought we'd have a problem of triple tanks insta-locking. Like, I might have played triple tanks once in Season 5, and we dominated. It was so fun. I got to go backline as Rogue the whole time. stealing Adam Warlock's soul bonds. It was so fun, but you don't get to do that all the time. Want to know how you'd know tanking's a problem in this game and I'm not just making this shit up? Anyone that plays this game on a semi-even consistent basis knows that Season 5.5 is problematic for triple heals. Everyone knows this. Regardless of your opinion on it, one of, if not the best counters to triple heals is, get this, triple tank. With triple heals, they can't kill 3 tanks fast enough. They just don't have the raw damage output, even if healers right now are kind of busted with damage as well. But tell me, how often do you see anyone counter triple heals with triple tanks? People would rather lose than do that. They would rather roulette swap through all the DPSs in the entire roster before doing that. Hell, the go-to move is just to do triple heals yourself to counter triple heals. No one wants to do triple tank. And it's a very, very good option to counter triple heals. That's how you know. You just can't get people to play tank on a consistent basis when it counters the one thing that's really pissing people off with the game right now. And that's actually another point I want to bring up on behalf of all tank mains like myself. You might think I'm being biased or salty even a little bit because I am a tank main, but that's the thing. I didn't start out as a tank main in Marvel Rivals. I started out as a strategist main, then a strategist and DPS main while flexing tank, but now I'm 100% in quick play or competitive, almost exclusively playing tank, because I have to. And if I was a betting man, I'd say most of the tank mains currently still in this game probably are due to having no choice rather than wanting to. I don't think every single Magneto that's god tier out there really thought they would main this character. Magneto subjectively can be, despite being an S tier character, boring. Emma Frost keeps getting nerfed and nerfed, but she's still considered extremely good considering the options we have. Doctor Strange and Hulk are not bad, but they're certainly not good this season. Even Thor, who I would consider good and can solo tank fine if he has to. Again, you can't play him properly by himself as a solo tank, not the way you truly want to. That's kind of why I started playing Angela. She's the only tank in the game that I can block things, shield myself, I can peel fast for health packs. I don't have to rely on anyone on my team to play and have fun. I can have a good game and do my best, get to my spots, be a game changer, skewer people off the map, displace people, be a nuisance, get kills, while still filling the role of tanking. I can even go after flyers with her if I want to. I'm not a sitting duck. I don't gotta rely on someone on my team to contest the Iron Man or Moon Knight, as I'm just a giant meat shield for those characters to just beam me uncontestedly. You're expected to hold down the fort, but yet if there's a problematic DPS on the other team and no one's dealing with them, you can't. If I'm solo taking, I can't switch to just any old character to deal with them. You just gotta pray and rely on your team to deal with it eventually if you point it out. If I'm a DPS main and I'm getting diffed, or the enemy team has a problematic Storm player, I can switch to Hela. I can switch to Scarlet Witch even, Punisher, and deal with it. As a tank main, you're often forced to hope your teammates make the proper swaps, don't have an ego, and do the right thing, or you're screwed. And there's nothing you can do, because if you switch, then you have no tank. And I'll actually take this opportunity in the video to ask you tank mains, if you're watching this, whatever tank you play, is it the character you started playing out on, or did you find yourself having to fill the role of tank because no one else would? So you just said fuck it and became a tank main. That's why I actually find it kind of nice that Magneto of all characters has a nice team up this patch. It actually looks like Magneto players can actually have some fun for a change. And because there's so few true tank mains that know what they're doing, even if you do have a tank pair, you're usually paired with somebody that's forced to flex, which I appreciate what they're trying to do, but man, it is so incredibly frustrating. And even if you're able to carry out a win, play a big part in your team's win, despite all the obstacles of being a tank main, you're not going to get rewarded with points, and a lot of the things you do are not going to translate to the score sheet. Another reason why tank is the hardest role to fill, no one wants to play, is simply because it is the only role which you don't actually have to have two. Hell, you don't even have to have one tank and you still could technically win. You can't win in a game without any healers. If you have one healer, good luck. You need DPS for damage. Plus, you're never going to get a game with no DPS, like that's never going to happen anyway. Unless it's a specific challenge someone's trying to do, like no one's doing that. You're going to have a Spider-Man queue in the blink of an eye. but you can technically win without a tank. So people always assume if you have one tank, that's good enough. And this is so frustrating. Even if I finally get a chance to play DPS for a change, but I see that I only have one tank on my team, I feel sorry, so I always swap, so they don't have to tank alone. And nothing pisses me off more than having to go a whole game as a solo tank. The game's really close, you're doing everything you can to try to will your team to win, or just be as good of a tank as you can by yourself, only for your teammate to finally give you a secondary tank, but it's all too late. Wait until the end of the match, we already lost now. Now you want to switch to tank and help me out. Great. Love it. I'm tired of having to do that. Play the same tanks that you have to play if you want to actually have a chance to win, because no one else is going to, and sometimes even when I do this, so that my tank doesn't have to solo tank, they'll then switch to DPS, so now I'm solo tanking anyway. Isn't that lovely? The other day this happened so many times to me. I was playing Rogue as a solo tank that I crashed out and I just left spawn as a DPS. We all lost together. Screw it. I just had enough. And then I had to shut off the game for the rest of the day because it just got exhausting. Now this whole video isn't just going to be negative because I love playing this game. I love this game. I don't want to be just negative because there is way more I enjoy about this game than dislike by far. I think too many times with this game people are complaining about every little thing. And people do have to learn that you can have fun while losing. People don't need to freak out and turn on each other if you lose one fight. Like, the mentality as a whole needs to improve in this game. But overall, I'm having a good time. It's just frustrating being a tank main in this game, no matter which tank you main. But there's no point in making a video like this unless we come up with some solutions. So how could we fix this problem? I don't think it's going to happen overnight. A step in the right direction is the introduction of Angela. She's a ton of fun, a different kind of tank. Rogue's a step in the right direction. She's hard to use, but a ton of fun as well. I've been having a lot of fun and success with her, but she does need some tools to fix her up. In this current environment, she cannot survive for the average player on an average basis. If she's going to be a tank that has to solo tank half the time, she needs a shield. Her cooldowns could be a little bit lower, and then I think she'd be fine. Obviously, I think triple heals and healers will be getting nerfed in Season 6. I mean, it's inevitable. Healers are running rampant. They're running the show right now. So you know that's incoming. But lastly, I think we just need more tanks. That's kind of obvious. DPS just has more characters to pick from, so naturally, you're gonna have more players. Healing's essential to win, but if you make more tanks that are fun and engaging, that can do different things, you might actually have people not solo tanking as much, maybe. And just to rapid fire some ideas off the top of my head, Dr. Octopus, he could be like a strategist tank hybrid, crawling on the walls with mobility, kind of like Penny can do. Maybe with a storm type of buff to his team, but also just a tank. I don't know, that could be fun. The Juggernaut's an obvious one. He could be like another kind of thing. A very offensive-oriented tank that takes space. Sabretooth could be another backlining tank, like a fat Black Panther. That would be fun. Kingpin could have a team up with Daredevil. Maybe Kingpin's like ultimate could be where a car of goons just show up and jump somebody. Like, I don't know. Roman the Accuser could be a tank. M'Baku from the Black Panther series could be a tank. Give that character some life in a new team up. Ant-Man could be a tank. Be Giant Man. Or maybe like a tank DPS hybrid, I don't know. The Sandman, God knows we need more Spider-Man characters. Doctor Doom would be an awesome tank. Who knows, maybe even somebody like MODOK. I always thought MODOK would be a strategist, but maybe he could be an interesting type of tank with his kinetic powers. Creating barriers, shields, having a laser beam out of his forehead, kind of like Emma Frost's primary, that could be cool. Captain Marvel, be another flying tank, sign me up. Colossus, obviously. You want to goon out to the Hulk, have a She-Hulk. Might not be a completely different character, but have some She-Hulk or some Jane Foster Thor skins like the Loki skin we got with the Lady Loki. Mix it up a bit. Maybe that'll fix the whole problem right there. Recruit all the gooners of Marvel Rivals to the tank role. It's right there, let's do it. The Beast obviously would be an awesome tank. Probably similar to Sabretooth. Backlining tank. I know Deadpool still has the slight chance to be a tank, but I seriously doubt it. Like, I would be shocked if he ends up being a tank. Overall, I just wanted to vent some of my frustrations no matter which tank you main. just because this patch especially and the last few weeks, I've hit a really low point where I've been crashing out with the game, feeling very burnt on this role, but yet I have no choice. I never get to play DPS or even healer properly half the time because we either have no tank or one tank that doesn't know what they're doing, which I guess you gotta learn the role by practicing and learning, going through the growing pains. And I don't mean to sound negative about the role because I love tanking, it's my favorite role now and I do enjoy it. I just wish and hope that it improves in a way that makes people want to play the role more, actually stick with the role, maybe distribute the points so you have a better chance at ranking up if you're playing tank, especially if you're going to have to solo tank and change the way you actually play a character and how they're meant to be played. Like, that's a huge sacrifice that people don't even appreciate or even acknowledge. So I just wanted to be a voice for some of those frustrations going into Season 6. And with that said, what kind of buffs and nerfs would you like to see going into the new patch? I've even heard that Elsa Bloodstone could potentially be a tank, and I think that's kind of interesting. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree, disagree, what would you like to see? Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.